Ellie Herson, are you here? Good. What is going to go on the program next is the Star Spangled Banner. You see the program there. Ellie's going to lead us. And I would ask that if it doesn't bother her, that if you care to join us in singing the national anthem, it would be fitting. And the protocol is, for the national anthem, is that we stand, we face the flag, and those of you who are not active or veterans, right hand upon your hearts if you please. And if you are a veteran or active military, it is your choice. You may salute as well. So we ask you all to rise, please. And Ellie, please lead us. Is going to introduce our speakers, but we are free because the brave sacrificed that we may be.
I'm delighted that our commencement speakers today both graduated at ceremony similar to this one back in 2001 from Pennsylvania Homeschoolers Accreditation Agency. When they were in high school, they loved American history, and they started to model little cats out of clay and turn them into battle scenes. Well, their battle scenes have gotten more and more sophisticated over time. And now you can see them written up in newspaper after newspaper. And they have a special place where you can view all of the battles that they've done, a sort of a museum in Gettysburg. You're all welcome to visit it. And if you go into the back of the entranceway here, you can see a poster board that they put up about their museum. So without any further ado, Rebecca and Ruth Brown, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Richmond. Graduates and loved ones, it's an honor to be here with you today as we celebrate this milestone. We're so grateful to the PHAA for inviting us to be your commencement speakers and for the privilege that that is. You made it. You made it through high school. Congratulations on this accomplishment. Some of you are headed to more schooling, some to jobs. Some of you know what you want to be and the path that you need to take to get there. Some of you know the next step, but you're not sure where you want to end up. Some of you are like deer in the headlights with no idea what you want to be when you grow up. And that's okay. Rebecca and I were here at the PHAA graduation over 20 years ago. We had some ideas, but we did not quite know what we wanted to do for a career. We knew what we liked to do, but a hobby is not a career. And yet here we are, having made our hobby into a career, a dream come true. So Rebecca and I are the owners of Civil War Tales Diorama Museum in Gettysburg. It's a unique blend of Civil War history and clay cats. Or as our mom always says, and we eventually embraced because, let's face it, mom is always right. It's real history with a fun twist. So we have thousands of clay cats set up in dioramas of Civil War scenes. And today we want to share 4 lessons that we have learned along the way that we think will be helpful to you as you move forward through life. First, allow yourself to dream. Second, identify the kernels within yourself that you keep coming back to. Third, when you do take the plunge, stick it out. And fourth, make a difference. So first, allow yourself to dream. So we were homeschooled all the way through high school, and our mom would just pick up whatever books on all sorts of subjects. 2 of those were biographies on Generals Ulysses S. Grant and Robert E. Lee. When we were 11, Rebecca read those biographies, and she really liked the generals, so she made them out of clay. We'd always fiddled with modeling clay growing up, and for us as kids, everything was about cats. So they came out naturally, at least in our minds, as cats in uniform with beards. Over the years, they multiplied. As we kept reading about the Civil War, we kept making cats to represent the people that caught our attention. And then we started setting them up after a couple of years in dioramas of scenes from the Civil War. And then over the years, those dioramas became larger and more detailed and more accurate. When we were kids, we would transport our cats in boxes that we labeled Clay Civil War Cat Museum. Obviously, we had no museum, and we had no particular reason to believe we would. But that was our dream. And all the way through high school and college, that's all it was, a dream. But when we went to college, even though we were thinking we could never have a museum, Rebecca still took classes on small business, just in case. So do not dismiss your dreams. Pursuing a dream is like eating an elephant. You take it one step at a time, and maybe you can. Even if the future is uncertain and you do not know where you may end up, it can still contain success and achievement. And we know because we've been there. So be open to your interests, keep an open mind, and keep learning. Work towards your dream when and where you can. And consider the possibility. It can lead to surprising future endeavors. And that brings us to our second point. So secondly, identify the kernels, both now and also as you progress through life. So far, schooling and life have planted the seeds in you of various interests and also have equipped you, even if you don't see it yet. For our part, Ruth discovered pre-law in college, and so she went on to become a lawyer, which was something I never expected for one of us. But the interest in law was always there, even growing up, and it was just a kernel that developed later. For my part, even in college, I didn't think that we could ever start a museum, but I still took the small business courses, just toying with the possibility of a museum. Now, those kernels would never have been possible without our parents. So all of you parents and family and friends out there, keep up the good work. You've, along the way, as your graduate has reached this milestone, you've planted the seeds and nurtured the kernels and also helped to equip them and encourage growth. In our case, our mom and dad created an encouraging environment for us to pursue our interests. One that allowed for creativity and learning and just letting us pursue whatever we were interested in. And for them, they never told us we were silly for making Civil War cats. Instead, they took us to battlefields and reenactments, which was quite a time investment for them. And they also bought us hundreds of Civil War books so we could continue reading and learning. And they've helped us with our interest itself, whether it's Dad helping us to build the topographical bases for our larger dioramas, or Mom contributing her fabric for our tents and flags, and helping us sew Civil War dresses for the lessons that we gave in high school. And even now, parents, your job's not over. So keep up the good work, like I said. Mom and Dad are still our biggest fans. They're still encouraging and supporting us, even now. So schooling and life can plant the seeds, but sometimes it takes you time to identify them. So identify the kernels that you keep coming back to. For my part, I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, even in college. I tried coming up with something careerish, but nothing really worked out. And I remember thinking, I just like making dioramas. But the kernel of a museum was always there. It just took a while to identify it. So eventually, I realized, no, it's not just that I like making dioramas, I also like sharing them with other people. But I also didn't know what to do with that realization. So sometimes it's a slow process as you move along, identifying and then figuring out what to do with that kernel. So that is where listening to other people can be helpful. Either to discover the kernel that will bring out your potential, or to find a way to do something with it. So for us in high school, we started doing Civil War lessons to other homeschooled students. And the students really enjoyed seeing the dioramas that we used as visual aids. We also started working at a retirement community, and our mom told us, if you make friends with the residents, they'll become like grandparents to you, which was true. And we really loved the residents there, and so naturally we wanted to share our clay Civil War cats with them, and so began the tradition of taking them, the dioramas, into the retirement community just for one afternoon a year and setting them up so that the residents and staff could see them. So we didn't know it, but those two opportunities were basically trial runs for our dioramas before a variety of people and ages. What we did see was that people really enjoyed seeing Civil War dioramas of little clay cats. So every year when we would display them at our work, one of the residents, Helen, would come up to us and say, "You should take these into schools." And we would laugh and joke, "You want to be our agent?" So in 2012, I thought, well, instead of just laughing it off each year, maybe I should seriously consider the idea. And so I did, and realized that travel is hard on our dioramas, and they were also multiplying and getting bigger. Little Round Top was in the planning stages, and we already knew it would be 11 feet long. So I thought, maybe we should bring the kids to the dioramas instead of the other way around. And so I started poking around commercial real estate listings in Gettysburg. And so taking that step never would have happened if I hadn't actually finally listened to Helen. So listen to the people around you. So once you've identified the kernel, what you're passionate about, what idea keeps coming back and rattling around in your mind, develop it. See how your strengths and skills, your talents and passions, your interests and knowledge can help to develop it and grow it. We pretty much jumped off the cliff with the museum and just went all in. But in reality, it did take knowledge. Ruth, being a lawyer, knew what kind of lawyer we needed to contact and find to do the legal requirements and to set up the business. It also took skills. When we moved out to Gettysburg, I began working at a hotel restaurant, And that job actually did equip me for running a museum, which sounds strange. But our boss would tell his staff, you know, the people are not paying just for food. They're paying for the experience. And the staff is part of the customer's experience to make it enjoyable and memorable. And that is, you know, a skill that will translate to a museum and also any other job. You know, how can we make the experience for our visitors both memorable and enjoyable? They're not just coming for the dioramas. And then starting the museum also took passion. People often tell us how they like, you know, seeing the passion that it took us, whether it's in the time and the work that it took to make the dioramas, or if it's just chatting with us and hearing us pour out the stories that inspired the dioramas. Now, we're very fortunate to have a museum that's centered around our passions, but in all honesty, even with a dream job, you won't love every day. And so whether you're working a dream job or, you know, just a job paying the bills, find ways to use your strengths and your skills and your talents and interests and your passions and your knowledge. Find ways to use them in whatever you're doing in life. So our third point, once you've identified that kernel and you've taken the plunge to develop it, stick it out. Like I said, you won't love every day, but pursuing your future, whether a dream job or not, is worth it. So be strong and courageous, especially in this world of anxiety and stress and depression. Stick it out, keep going. So that's all well and fine to say, but how? How do you keep plugging forward every day, especially once the shine of graduation or a new job has worn off? So we have a very practical tip, one that we've found helpful. Remember the 5 stars. So what that means is remember the good comments and interactions. Let's face it, you can have tons of 5-star reviews and likes, but it's always that lone 1-star review that's going to stick in your head and start you doubting and second-guessing yourself. So remember the 5 stars. What we've taken to doing is writing down the nice comments that we have from visitors in the museum, and then at the end of each month, we'll compile them into a monthly report. And so that's nice because then you can go back, especially on the discouraging days, you can go back and actually read comments like, "This was a joy. This is the best museum we've been to. This was better than Mardi Gras in New Orleans." I'm not kidding, somebody really said that. So that way, if you're feeling discouraged, you can go back and remind yourself. It can also help you to remember why you do what you do, to keep you plugging forward, and also to reorient you back to your original goals and aims with what you're doing. And if you're doing a job that you don't like, still write down the times that your boss says good job or a client says thanks for listening, you know, because even then you can go back and remind yourself now and then. So then, when you look back over the months and years, you can realize that you're making a difference, which is our 4th point. So whatever you do it with excellence, and you will make a difference. Over the years, we've developed specific strengths and skills and knowledge, our interests and passions, to make us the Civil War Tales Diorama Museum. And the result has been impacting people with our passion and our interests and our detail and accuracy. So as kids, we were detail-oriented perfectionists, and over time, we developed our skills in research and analysis, our knowledge, our attention to detail, our desire for accuracy, so that now even licensed battlefield guides can enjoy seeing a historically accurate, to scale, miniature view of one point in time on the battlefield that they know so well. And even people who had their doubts about clay cats can appreciate the detail and the accuracy. As kids, we liked making things out of modeling clay and whatever we had around the house. Well, over time, we've developed our skills, our precision in detail, and so that now we can recreate the battlefield topography. We can recreate rock formations from photographs. So now when visitors see it, they can visualize what the battle looked like. They can see what they're learning about. One visitor said that the Civil War Tales experience was life-changing because she could finally see for the first time what the battle might have looked like. She had grown up in Gettysburg, but had always struggled to grasp the numbers involved. And as kids, we liked the individual people stories. So over time, we've developed the passion for not only recreating them for ourselves, but also sharing the stories of the people of the Civil War. So that now, our visitors can see we're raising awareness about a lesser-known part of the battlefield. We can inspire kids to study history, even to make their own dioramas, form their own Civil War clubs or history clubs. And we're also helping adults become interested who were not interested in history before. Something quirky can still be unexpectedly awesome and informative, and can make a boring subject interesting. So if you do what you do well, you will make a difference. And it will impact people even in ways that you do not expect. We did not set out thinking we're going to make a difference, but we have. What was just clay cats has helped people to see history in a new way, and is helping to honor and tell the stories of the people in the Civil War. So how will you make a difference? Your strengths and skills and knowledge, your interests and passions can impact lives. So develop them. Value lifelong learning. Take learning opportunities with an open mind and with enthusiasm. Remain curious and open to new experiences and knowledge, and keep honing your skills. Whatever you do after today, whether it's a job, schooling, even your hobbies, do it with excellence and you will make a difference. Today you're facing a significant change in your life. Some of you are headed out on your own, maybe to more schooling, or maybe you're starting a new job. Maybe you're looking for a job. You're excited, you're scared, you're happy to be moving forward, but still already missing what's behind and what's familiar. But remember that you've been equipped for this. You have what you need to face that future. So let yourself dream and work towards that dream when and where you can. Identify the kernels that you keep coming back to, and listen to the people around you as you develop your strengths and skills and knowledge and your interests and passions. Develop your passions, and when you take the plunge, stick it out. Remember the 5 stars and keep going. This life can drag you down, so it's important to be strong and courageous and to keep going. And then finally, keep learning and pursue excellence, and you will make a difference. Your family is proud of you, and we are proud of you. You've made it this far, and you have an exciting future ahead of you. So congratulations, class of 2024.